because I wanted to give you a bonus video here on how to deal with two-way tables. We didn't do as much as this as probably we should have, so I want to make sure that people that want to do well tomorrow have a chance to, just by watching this and kind of understanding what's going on. They're going to ask us to construct a two-way table of data. You're probably going to have to do this on your test tomorrow. Um, the way we do that, just look at all these. This is how we set up our two-way table. It looks like we have a choice of boy or girl, and then grades or popularity. These are just, the reason this is two columns here is just because there's so many of them, they couldn't put them into one. So these are all kind of, so this is one boy who prefers popularity to grades, another boy who prefers grades, girl that prefers grades. So this is just a bunch of these. I think there's 40 total. So what I did is just went through all these. So boy or girl, so boy popularity, I put a notch here. Boy grades, I put a notch here. Girl grades, I put a notch here, etc. When you add them all up, what I got, and I may have missed one or whatever, you may have get slightly different numbers, but make sure you count semi correctly. You're going to lose some points if you're not totally correct, but just make sure you do a double check. This is my two-way table. So I have 4 things here, and then I have my column totals here, my row totals here, and my grand total here. So they're asking us, what's the frequency of students who believe grades are more important? Frequency just means number, how often it happens. So it looks like 22 people think grades are more important, 7 boys and 15 girls. The relative frequency of students, that means the frequency out of the total number of students. So it's 22 out of 40. So the relative frequency of students who believe grades are more important is 55%. The way I found 55% was 22 over 40. You can do it on a calculator or just reduce or just divide. But anyway, you'll get 0.55 or 55 out of 100 or 11 out of 20. That ends up being 55%. The frequency, remember again, frequency is the number of students that think popularity is more important, that's 18. And that makes sense because if 22 people think grades are more important, there's 18 left that think popularity is more important than grades. And those two numbers add up to 40. The relative frequency is that same number, the frequency over the total number of students. So it looks like 45% think popularity is more important. And that makes sense again. If 55% think grades are more important, and the other 45% think popularity is more important. They're only given a choice between these two things, so it's either or. You can't. There's nothing else. So the things have to add up to 100%. The relative frequencies. What's the frequency of girls who believe grades are more important? That's this right here. Girls who believe grades are more important are 15. The relative frequency of girls who believe grades are more important is the 15 girls out of a total number of 20 girls. Of 20 girls, 15 think grades are more important. So that's this 15, that's this 20 right here. I might have color coded it a little bit weird, but this 20 is the 20 girls right here. So 15 out of 20, that's 75%. So 75% of the girls think grades are more important. That's kind of interesting because 55% of students as a whole thought grades were more important. 75% of girls. So that's interesting. Looks like they care more. Let's check out the boys. The frequency of boys who believe popularity is more important is 13. The relative frequency is 13 out of 20 because a 13 out of a total number of boys, total number of 20 boys, that's 65%. So yeah, it looks like boys think popularity is more important, at least with this group. Based on this data, do you feel like there's a relationship between a student's gender and what they think is most important in school? What's the relationship and what evidence do you have that it exists? It looks for sure like girls care more about grades than boys. It looks like 75% of them think grades are more important compared to only 7 out of 20 boys. So 7 out of 20 boys think grades are more important. That's only 35%. So girls definitely think grades are more important. And since there's a choice between only grades and popularity, it looks like boys think popularity is more important than grades. It's possible that they both think grades are more important, but in this case, it looks like boys think popularity is more important than grades. Hope this helps.